Anyways, I've been asked a few times recently about Soulkey's ridiculous run that he's had lately, right? He's been just completely dominant in the StarCraft 1 scene. People are asking, like, does this count? Is he a Bonjwa, right? So first off, let's just take a look at what Bonjwa is. Okay, Bonjwa is a term used to describe a player who dominates the StarCraft scene for a long period of time. Bonjwa has a very high winning percentage and successive titles. However, a Bonjwa is not defined by his statistics or records. Rather, a general consensus is reached that he is the most dominant pro gamer of his era. So a lot of people have asked me, is Soulkey a Bonjwa? And what I've actually answered is, it's not up to me. It's basically the Korean scene comes to this consensus and decides who's a Bonjwa and who is not. So, like, for instance, when you ask why is there no Protoss Bonjwa? Well, it's because the Korean scene never decided that there was one. Okay? So, and here's just a little origin of it. Bonjwa in Korean was originally the self-raising first-person pronoun used to distinguish oneself as Chinese translation, okay? In StarCraft, the name Bonjwa was first used as a nickname for July, even though he was not a Bonjwa, as a term to name a particular dominant player. It was established during the Savior era, okay? I think a lot of people don't realize this, okay? So first off, July Zerg is one of the most successful players of all time. He just didn't do it in quite the streak some other players did, so he never actually got this. Savior was the first one named that, but he was actually one of the last Bonjwas. They went back and retroactively gave Bonjwa status. These are the guys that had it, and they were all super, super dominant during their time. Boxer, just about unbeatable back there. And Nada, obviously Nada is... If Flash wasn't the greatest player of all time, it would be Nada. 100%. No one disagrees with that. He's got way more results than anyone else. Probably the most talented player ever. I Love Uv. That was probably the most dominant era that I've ever seen. You got to remember, I've been playing since the very beginning. Before Boxer was popular, I was playing. So I've watched everything. And I Love Uv was so... Think about me and the way I feel about the game. When I was watching I Love Uv play, I actually thought they might need to patch the game, because he made Terran look so busted. By the way, the person who dethroned him was July Zerg. Anyways, Savior, of course, obviously a lot of crazy things going on there. And then Flash. Okay, so these are your Bonjwas. So the question, is Soulkey a Bonjwa now? Let's take a look at what Soulkey has done in the last year and a half. Okay, ASL Season 16. Wait, where's the... Okay, he won over Mini in the finals. So he won a ZVP in that finals against probably the best Protoss versus Zerg player that we have in the modern time. Okay, ASL Season 17. Soulkey won over Hero, the best other Zerg available at the time. And then he won the third one, the first SSL season. Soulkey over Sharp. It was kind of a surprise Sharp got there. I don't put him as the best Terran in the scene currently, but obviously he's very, very strong, and he absolutely crushed him there, losing one map. So not only did he win 3 in a row, he beat the best Protoss to do it, he beat the best Zerg to do it, and then he beat a Terran to do it, even though, I don't think many people think Sharp is actually the best. So, not showing ASL 17. What? And the rest? No, I just showed it. Anyways, yeah, and if you look at who he beats in these other rounds, it is insane as well. The thing is, his play is absolutely dominating. Also, in some of these other tournaments, like, for instance, I watch the KCM Race Survival series every week, and it's like when he comes out, it fucks it up, because you're like, oh, maybe, like, so-and-so will win or whatever. And then Soulkey comes out and just eats whoever's there. Okay, I think mechanically he's unbelievable. Decision-making, he is the best we've had since Flash. His strategy play is the best that I've seen. If you look at the strategies he used in this previous season, unbelievable. Unbelievable play. So again, is Soulkey a Bonjwa? A year and a half of pure domination. No one else looks even capable of winning. And in fact, unless Flash gets into top form and comes back in the next season, I'm expecting Soulkey to win another season. He's just looking that good. Okay, so here is the reality of the situation. In Korea, the fans really separate the Kespa era and the modern Afrika TV or ASL era, let's call it, okay? So there's the Kespa era, which is basically everything with OSL, MSL, Pro League, and then there's post that, which was like a very dark period where there was very little stuff. It was very small time, and Brood War was at its all-time low. And then obviously things have come back pretty strongly with the ASL. So Soulkey is not really, to the Korean scene, up for debate for being in that group of Bonjwa players. Oh my God, I actually was looking at the wrong thing in this. Okay, I was clicking on a different browser. This is so funny. Anyways, what I said was all true here. I clicked. I just realized why you guys were saying that. ASL 17, as you can see, there's the hero win, and oh, that's so funny. Okay. And of course, here was the sharp win. Sorry about that, LOL. Anyways, so, yeah, they keep it separate. So obviously, StarCraft was more competitive. Now, this doesn't mean that the players would like come in and crush right now. That's kind of like a discussion for a different video. That I feel like a lot of people have really terrible takes on that. Like, people are technically better right now. Like, the strategies are way stronger. People are very smart right now, but they're not practicing anywhere near as much. It's not you know, quite what it was in that Kespa era. So he's not really being like considered to join this group by the Korean scene. I think that you could definitely call him like an ASL era Bonjwa, or whatever we want to call this modern era that we're in right now. Like, Flash was obviously Bonjwa for a long time. He went to the military. He stopped playing. Soulkey is obviously completely dominant right now. But it seems like, and I don't think that they will ever allow another player to get into this group. I think that this is basically the group for all time, and we have to kind of maybe think about having a second group, like the second era of StarCraft that we're in right now with ASL, because the thing is, there's a ton of people playing right now. It is very highly competitive. You know, we have a lot of pro tournaments. We have just constant people playing, making money and all that. There's definitely a pro scene right now. But the good old days, I think, will never be touched by the modern players. I think that that's something that's just going to be like, eh. And, you know, obviously, Flash continues to build upon his accolades, and he is considered, like, what he's done in the ASL era, I think, has helped his standing, just to, because that feels like a little tiny bit of a double standard, but like, he's like kind of considered like the god of all time, right? Like, he's like a different level than all the Bonjwas. And then like, you look at what he's done now, and it's like, oh, okay, well, that's absurd, dominating both eras at their peaks. But yeah, so there you have it. Soulkey does not get a Bonjwa status. I do wonder if he wins, like, let's say he wins 3 more ASLs in a row. Will the Korean scene be like, okay, well, maybe we should consider this? Like, he's doing like more than anyone ever did at this point. I don't think that they will, but yeah, that's kind of where it's at. So I would say in these modern times, he is basically a modern day Bonjwa player. He is a player that is completely levels above. If you look at the definition, he's got the very high winning percentage. He's got the successive title wins, and a general consensus that he's the most dominant pro gamer of his era. This current era we're in, this flashless era, there's no question that Soulkey is by far the strongest. So my vote is he is kind of a Bonjwa, but yeah, not joining that original group. So yeah, let me know what you think. Is that fair? Is that unfair?